For the second character that will build kind of off to the side of the conversations tonight, I have a new blank character sheet, and Bobicus has kindly finished up the random roll guide, kind of version 2.0, where it's a little bit more concise as a flow through here. And I'm going to give this a try and see what kind of a character that we develop. For anyone who doesn't know, bubonic... looks like I might have spilled a little bit of tea on my desk. Hang on a second. Bubonic does some logistic stuff, as he is a volunteer firefighter. And this was something that he volunteered to do on behalf of the channel, was to condense the scrolling back and forth for the random character generator guide. And I really appreciate that. You figured out how to incorporate random rolls into that spreadsheet. When it's done, I'll roll them up for you. I'll take a look at it. Part of what I want to do, though, is to make sure that we're not just getting in everything all at once, because if we take it methodically and step by step, that allows us psychological gateways to build concepts of characters little bit by little bit, as bits are revealed one at a time in front of us. Yes, King, I have had more people show interest in wanting to have a dungeon night, maybe on Tuesday night or something, and I would run a campaign on D20. Or roll 20, I'm sorry. Yeah, no random rollers for now, because I want to make sure we're telling the story along. So, as the first step indicates, we're going to roll a percentile to determine the gender and or multi-class ability of the character. 9, so we're making another female. Next up, we have a race and sub-race. So, we'll roll 2d10. Actually, let's do it one at a time here. 4. So that's a human, and evens, we're making a variant human. Okay. Next up, we have 2 percentiles for alignment. 8852. Now, as Bubonic made it, he spread out the percentages like so. That's not how I had it conceptualized for the original here, because I was weighting it way more heavily. 60% of the people we're generating are good, 30% are neutral, and 10% would be evil. Though, what I will do is, in appreciation for the work that he's put in, I'm going to roll this character as the chart has it. Though, just as a heads up, Bubonic, I may end up tweaking some of the numbers. You've never made it here this early. I always miss this part. Hey, well, yeah, welcome aboard, Fiendish. We're making a character from the ground up. We're going to take random elements, make a silhouette of the character, and fill her in as we go. She's kind of catatonic. Her eye is twitchy. And she needed Party's gnome to lead her to back her. Oh, okay. Well, So, yeah, she's just a very reserved, kind of brilliant person, is how it sounded. Alright, so we rolled an 8852, so on the bubonic spread here, 8852 is going to be neutral evil. Let's determine our level with a 1 percentile here. A 42. Level 14. Percentile to see if she's using... Okay, she's not using feats. We're going to go with ability score adjustments. ASIs. Next, we have a D13, and we're going to determine which background she is. Background 1. This is Acolyte. There's no origin roll, so we have 2d8 for her personality traits, a 5 and a 7, and then we roll 3d6 for the others. Whoops. 6, 1, and 5. Okay. Derek says, all right, work starts early, got to crash. Take care. Derek, hey, thanks for coming along on the journey with us, for providing your input. Hopefully you'll come back and be a part of the conversation. You're saying a lot of really good stuff, some good cautionary tales. Thank you for joining us on Discord. And come and hang out as often as you want, man. I super appreciate it. King keeps stepping on Sten's tail, lost your left arm, and now your mind is broken. So on the whole, Sten's not doing too well. The story behind the arm, King, is something... I think that's something that you put in Discord, didn't you, Romonger? Delcorin's going through the dungeon. What's he going to do in there? An ooze pops up. 2d20, you have advantage, 4 and a 2. 4 plus 2 is 6, not even halfway to the 13 to defeat the ooze. Yep, oh poor Delcorin. D12 for class. We're going to hit that golden button. An 11. An 11 is a Warlock. And for Warlock, there's a couple different options here. We have a D3 patron and a D3 Pact. So let's go through our 3-sided die here. And we're going to roll it twice. We're going to hit roll. 2 and a 1. There we go. Humans start at 4'8", and we're going to roll 2d10, add to it. 13. We're going to take that same number and multiply it by 2d4. We're going to add, 26 pounds, so she's 136. Now for her age as a percentile. 44. She's going to be an adult. She is an adult. And it looks like Babacus had spread out the ages between the young adult minimum to the physical maximum that we're getting here. So as a human, Although the spread is a little bit... The spread is a little bit off, Bobicus, since I would probably... Middle-aged... middle age doesn't start at 60 for humans on that kind of a comparison. I'd like to... Let's... something like that might be a little bit more in tune. But let's call this a 1d15. 2. 41, 42, 2 years. There we go. Delcorin says that the dice are loaded. Well, the dice are loaded into a bot, that's for sure. King is encouraging Sten's slow descent into madness. Maybe you'll eventually get a psychotic replacement arm that makes you kill every night. So we're making a female neutral evil warlock. Are we making my waifu? Sure, you know what? If you want to find some character art for this king, I'll be your patron, baby. If you want to find some character art, you're certainly welcome to share it on Discord. Just make sure that it's safe for work. She's 5'11", 136 pounds, which makes her body mass index to be 19, which is borderline normal weight and underweight. Yeah, well, she probably doesn't have a bunch of teleport spells to just kind of go around and do the thing. It's level 8. There we go. Okay. Safe for work, this depends on where you work, and suddenly I think I'm changing professions to the adult industry. Hey, man, you learn to draw, get a Patreon, or go on DeviantArt or something, and depending on your own willingness to pursue requests, you can make a good job for yourself. Oh, okay, I think I see what you're doing for middle-aged. Okay, alright, it's 4, okay, 41 to 55. Okay, I think I see what you were doing there, Bubonic. Oh, Darkwolf is still working on Soraya. I'll post that up here in just a little bit. Okay, so we have her filled in. I don't know, just it takes a little bit of practice getting used to the new stuff, but there we go. Alright, so we don't need that. We'll start with the background. Acolyte is A for Acolyte in the beginning. We gain insight and religion. We get 2 languages of our choice. Being a human, we get common, 1 other, and then we get 2 others of our choice. We get a holy symbol of some kind. A prayer book. Five sticks of incense. Some vestments, which are the official clothing you wear during a procedure, celebration, something along those lines, a ceremony. Common clothes. Belt pouch. 15 gold. We do get Shelter of the Faithful. Shelter. Maybe she has a little bit of a lisp. Shelter of the Faithful. So if she goes to a place that follows, in a religion she follows, she can get some accommodation and accommodation for people that she's rolling with. Unholy symbol and Book of the Damned. What Pact and Patron? King, she is a fiend. She's a fiend patron with a blade pact. This is the character art that King is thinking of for his waifu. I mean, the new character that we're just generating right now. So we can use this as inspiration. What is her personality like? I quote or misquote sacred texts and proverbs in almost every situation. You know what they say, early to bed teaches an old dog new tricks. And 7, personality traits. I've enjoyed fine food, drink, and high society among my temple's elite. Rough living grates on me. King says this would work nicely too. Hey, it could, right? She's fiendish. She's her patron's the Fiend, and she is a blade lock. Maybe one is before coffee, one is after coffee. I'll let you choose which one is which, because I can see it both ways. Her ideal is number 6. Aspiration. I seek to prove myself worthy of my God's favor by matching my actions against his or her teachings. Ooh. I think we definitely have a very loyal Fiend follower here. Bonds 1. I would die to recover an ancient relic of my faith that was lost long ago. She may very well do so. From what I understand, not a lot of Fiend pact makers meet a natural end to their lives. Flaws 5. I am suspicious of strangers and expect the worst of them. Are there many evil deities, Fiendish asks, or could a neutral evil person follow a good god? Yeah, they're almost the same person, says Peru. That is going to depend entirely on the game or the setting that you're taking place in, Fiendish. If it's homebrew, it's whatever your DM says. If it's, Forgotten Realms, or you're basing it off of Norse mythology, you could find balances and imbalances. Or there might be one evil deity that has, the same but different power than the 5 good deities, kind of a thing. An evil person could follow any god. It's just weird to have a categorization for good and evil and then live a lifestyle entirely counter to your ideal. Yeah, so it's, you know, if you have pledged yourself to, I mean, let's say that you have pledged to a religion that forbids you. You know, we can use Mormonism, right? They say that caffeine is bad. If you have pledged yourself to that lifestyle, and I'm not picking on any religions, you know, like real ones, or you're living kosher and you have, you know, you eat pork or you eat meat and cheese together. Why are you doing this? Because you accept those limitations, you accept those teachings as a way to follow others who've lived life, you know, happily, successfully, and you're not doing it. So maybe you're doing it for a thrill, like a secret thrill, like you go home and you have like a, you know, like a ham and cheese with mayo on like white bread or something. And so you could sit back and say, oh, yes, or Butter's character, Professor Chaos, he's like, yes, chaos. But then you're not, are you really faithful in that instance? You're just doing it kind of like a meme. You're just doing it to have fun. You're not really doing it as a way to guide you. I hope that makes sense, Fiendish Acorn. Though, as for deities and whatnot, there's, oh yeah, so King put a good link in there for you to explore. There are a whole pantheon that D&D will provide to you. Though the way that 5th edition is opened, you don't have to follow a particular pantheon. In fact, you can have a monotheistic religion in 5th edition rather easily. Make sure I'm caught up here. According to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, huh? I think South Park also established that, King. Delcorn, as for the cantrip message you sent me, it's my earphones. For whatever reason, they are restarting like every 5 minutes, and it's quite annoying. My firmware is up to date on it, and it's being, I don't know, they're being kind of derpy. Like my computer will hibernate, and I'll come back, and the color on them is red, which I don't know why they put the LED color facing backwards, right? Anyway, but they'd be like glowing red on and off, and they'd sound really tinny, and then I like have to reset them, and then they're doing this resetting thing over and over. I even have the power plugged directly in, so it's not a battery thing. Delcorn, I worship the giant female aliens from Futurama. Well, you know, Del, they only want you for snoo snoo. Rose all about the blue chicks from Mass Effect. Hey, it sounds like another cosplay. You might be able to bat your eyelashes and roll a 20 on persuasion for your wife, right? You're talking the psychic ones that have the kind of like swoopy scales instead of hair. Excuse me, sir. That's my cable. Oh, some tiefling art. Yeah. TG, I will say that TG does have a lot of good tabletop stuff. It is not supposed to be adult content. Be careful with TG at work. It's the holiest ceremony among us. Hey, stop it. I didn't choose the tiefling life. The tiefling life chose me. There's supposed to be a way that I can like factory reset the earphones, but when I try following it, yep, there they go again. When I try following it, it doesn't seem to do so. So I don't know, Del. Okay, let's continue on here. Alright, so we have some basic personality tenets. We don't get any tool proficiencies. Okay, that's fine. Alright, we are finished with that. Let's go over to race. Oh, no, for races, this is going to be easy. She's a variant human. She gets +1 to 2 different stats. She gets a skill, an extra skill, and she gets a feat. We are playing a Warlock, so I think we should definitely give her charisma. Though the other question is then going to be, what else do we want to make her strong in pursuing? Do we actually want to make her an intelligent Warlock, a wise Warlock? Do we just want to make her, swole and give her strength? What do you think would make for a good secondary bump to this character? Because we do already have a wisdom skill and a religion skill given to us, or a proficiency based on our backgrounds. Let's see. Also, she quotes or misquotes sacred texts. She has aspiration. Well, that's charisma. Intelligence, I think, might be important for that as well. She would die to recover an ancient relic of my faith. I'm suspicious of strangers. So that's a case for wisdom, right? Through insight. Con and dex, or dex and con. She's just got to be pretty to put on the Fiend recruitment posters. You just want to come up? Come on. Come see everyone. Cats, what can I say? Fiendish is saying intelligence. Since she's so devoted, I feel like she wouldn't feel like she needs to be super wise, since her god or whatever will take care of her. Russian components, American components, they're all made in Taiwan. So just give them a good thwatch. She's a blade lock. She's going to rely on a certain level of mad already. What do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't get the acronym of MAD, King. Bubonic, it looks like he's saying strength as the dump stat, dex as average, high con, high int, well, like medium high int, average wisdom, and higher charisma. Oh, mutually assured destruction. Oh, that kind of a mad? Now we can go home. Indeed, Ro, indeed. Alright, so with what Bubonic is putting out here, we're saying 8, 12, 13, 14, 10, and 15. King is saying multiple attribute dependencies. If she's going to be a frontliner, she'll need some constitution to take hits, some dex for AC and to hit damage, and chaw for casting. Oh, there goes the earphones again. Then in that case, maybe we can flip. We can go 14, 12. And we can put the 1 in dex. Put Bubonic saying put the second one into con. Yeah, I think it does have to be a melee weapon, King. So if we do this, she's going to be, oh man, she's going to be full of beef and spice if we do that. Bump con and shot of 14 and 16. All right. 14, 16, Also, she is going to be getting 2 ASIs. So we need to determine, do we want to just pump her charisma up to 18, or do we want to do something like 18 charisma and 16 dex? But yeah, we have 2 ASIs that we can work with. That's 2 to 1 stat or 1 to 2 for anyone who doesn't know what that means. Spicy beef sounds like snoo snoo to me. Let's see. She gets her bonus, her Yumi, as the orcs would say. Her Yumi skill. Probably something like Arcana, right? If she's into this, worthy of my god's favor, matching actions, I would die to recover an ancient relic. That's kind of Arcana stuff. Yeah, in Bubonic, she does get a feat. So if you all are thinking 2 steps ahead of me and thinking of feats, then you can make some suggestions. And remember, we get 2 ASIs still. Duelist feat would be good, but 18 Cha and 16 Dex would also be good. Yeah, she's a variant humor. Apparently this character does have a little bit of a speech impediment. I quote sacred texts and proverbs in almost every situation. Should turn on D&D Beyond so I can look at the feats. That's how we roped her. We promised if she did enough stuff for us, we'd cure the speech impediment. The secret to wealth and success. Roguemonger comes back as a female half-orc monk. Whoop-ah! Jam, who goes there? Perugia, is that you? It stops and moves forward and suddenly responds, DB style. What do you do? I don't know, Peru. Does that sound like a Peru? A Peru to you? Oh, there go the earphones again. Light armor. Simple weapons. Wisdom and charisma saving throws. Choose 2 skills from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. I think Investigation would make sense. Probably Deception. Neutral evil. She's kind of misquoting texts. Whether or not she has money, she likes living in the high society lifestyle. Matching my actions against his or her teachings as a fiend. I think that makes sense. If you all have any other suggestions, I can rearrange something. I put Arcana here as the human variant skill, so this is kind of a floater, though I think Arcana would still fit into what's going on here. Let's see. She's going to start with some kind of a simple weapon. A a component pouch or an arcane focus. I think she'd be the type of person who has a focus. What that is, I don't know. We can leave that to be determined. A scholar's pack or a dungeoneer's pack. Lots of paper and ink for her magical mystery writings, her fiendish pact, and her adult coloring book that she's working on. Leather armor. Any simple weapon. And 2 daggers. We will get back to the... We'll do the spell casting in a little bit here. We gain 2 Eldritch Invocations. Let's just make sure... 3 cantrips. We're up to 4 invocations. Okay. Pact of the Blade. You can use your action to create a pact weapon in your empty hand. You can choose the form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it. You are proficient with it while you wield it. This weapon counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Your pact weapon disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more. It also disappears if you use this feature again, if you dismiss the weapon, or if you die. Okay, other stuff, so... Okay, that works. We can summon a magic weapon that looks like really whatever we want. Arcana or history. Don't know if I've ever seen a DM run a history check, but I've seen a few dozen Arcana checks. I can agree with your lack of history checks. That is something that I conscientiously do in my game, King. Yeah, it does seem that way, King. Yeah, you can choose the form this melee weapon... Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can choose a form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it, so it does have to be melee. Theoretically, you could build a strength warlock and maybe go like 2-handed like weapon, or like a great sword or a great axe if you really wanted to. Alright, so that was... We have... What else do we have? Invocations, yeah, there's a pack boon. Okay, that's all we have to worry about for our class. We'll put that there. We won't have to worry about that. There go my headphones again. I'm gonna have to find out what's going on. These things were new. I mean, new when I started broadcasting anyway. That was a month ago. It should still be under warranty if it's something derping on their end. Okay, so for our archetype, which is the Fiend... Dark One's Blessing. We can death knell people. Dark One's Own Luck. We can alter fate in our favor. And there we go. And that's what we get so far. And then, of course, we get some spells. And we'll worry about that when we get to the spell list. Pact fork and spoon. It's got to be one of those Far Eastern slapping bows. Seriously thinking alert or combat caster. Combat caster, yeah, if she's going to be kind of a melee, like an upfront fighter, melee caster could be important, King. Or, I'm sorry, bubonic. And then King says, yeah, a melee bow. You can't fire arrows with it, but you can hit people with the bow. Jam goes into the dungeon. A falling rock. Oh, Jam, are you going to do it? 19. Hey. Jam, I think this is the first time you've dodged out of the way of a rock in a while. Nice. Or you can go and buy the legendary item Spork, said to contain the power of both a fork and a spoon. Fiendish Acorn has 40 EXP, yeah. Alright, we need to give her 4 invocations. Armor of Shadows, Beast Speech, Beguiling Influence. You gain proficiency in Deception and Persuasion. Bewitching Whispers. You can cast Compulsion once using a Warlock spell slot. Devil's Sight will give her Dark Vision. 120 feet, and being a human, that could be important. Dreadful Word, you can cast Confusion once during a Warlock, or using a Warlock spell slot. Eldritch Sight, you can cast Detect Magic at will without expending a spell slot. That might be a good one. Eyes of the Runekeeper, you can read all writing. Fiendish Vigor, you cast False Life on yourself at will as a first level spell. Oh, you mean a Foon, says Delcorin. I hear Devil Sight and Hunger of Hadar is a good combo. That can be. There's actually I'll take this as an opportunity real quick to. So I was having this discussion. with the Warlock in my 5th edition campaign. You open a gateway to the dark between the stars, a region infested with unknown horrors. A 20-foot radius sphere of blackness and bitter cold appears, centered on a point within range and lasting the duration. This void is filled with a cacophony of soft whispers and slurping noises that can be heard up to 30 feet away. No light, magical or otherwise, can illuminate the area, and creatures fully within the area are blinded. The void creates a warp in the fabric of space, and the area is difficult terrain. Any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 cold damage. Any creature that ends its turn in an area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 acid damage as milky, otherworldly tentacles rub against it. Like, the fact that this is your honeymoon spot with this waifu king aside... oh, there go my earphones. This is kind of a DM call, and I had this discussion with my Gulak in my 5th edition party. It's the way it's worded is not necessarily as darkness, and for him, I told him because this is such a supernatural summoning that this isn't darkness, and Devil's Sight cannot see through it. Because it's nothingness. It's not even darkness. Because if we come up to... Magic, so in darkness, magical darkness, so here's 2 keywords. Magical darkness spreads from a point you choose for the duration. The darkness spreads around corners. A creature with dark vision can't see through this darkness, and non-magical light can't illuminate it. And then we come back down to Hunger of Hadar. You open a gateway to the dark between the stars. So it's not called darkness, or even like magical darkness. It's talking about this alien, otherworldly, incomprehensible stuff. It's a sphere of blackness, not darkness. And bitter cold appears, centered on the point. This void, not darkness, is filled with a cacophony of soft whispers and slurping noises. No light, magical or otherwise, can illuminate the area, and creatures fully within the area are blinded. So even if you had Devil's Sight or if you had Dark Vision up, that would not allow you to see into, out of, or through Hunger of Hadar. So that's how I ruled it with him, and he completely understood and rolled with it. Because I told him, look, you're getting something better than darkness, arguably. Like, yeah, if you have Devil Vision, you can put that up and see through darkness without a problem. Hunger of Hadar is its own thing. You are... the void creates a warp in the fabric of space. So, that was my ruling on it, King, as far as my game is concerned. Armor of Shadows goes good with being a blade. Yeah, because you're on the front lines. So, if you're looking that up, King, I'm going to head back to Warlock here to get the Invocations. Gaze of Two Minds. You can use your action to touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. Oh, that'll be interesting on your honeymoon, King. As long as the creature is on the same plane of existence as you, you can use your action or subsequent turns to maintain this connection. Mask of Many Faces could be an interesting one. Master of Myriad Forms, not high enough yet. Mire the Mind, you can cast slow using a Warlock spell slot. You can cast Bestow Curse once using a Warlock spell slot. You can cast Bane once during... Okay. Thirsting Blade, you can attack with your packed weapon twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action. That might be a good one too. She's kind of aggressive. Alright, so let's... The feat should be Combat Caster. Yeah, I think if she's going to be as frontline as we're making her. Especially because we gave her a pumped-up constitution. That would make sense. Like, she wants to be in the mix. She wants to be hitting people. She wants to be pounding away. We should give her some kind of utility also. So probably something like Eyes of the Runekeeper. And a magic one. Jam pulls from the deck of many things. Gem, nice. She can make her packed weapon a finesse weapon so she can take advantage of her high dex. Yeah. Yep, but if we did make her a strength warlock, she could wield a greatsword as her packed weapon. Something besides Eyes of the Runekeeper. I don't want her to be able to read my infernal text I'm sending to other pawns. You know what? Actually, why don't we, we'll kind of do with what I have joked about, but we can give her Gaze of Two Minds. That could be a good utility one also. Rose says, King, why would you make her blush? I don't know. She might even say, "Oh, you worded it that way? Come on, do it this way." And then... All right. We have a lot going on for this character now. That's taken care of. We can fill in some skills. She gets 3 extra languages too. And she has some... We can do the spell page... We can come back and do spells at the end in the third part here. I want to make sure we have the meat, like the bones, and then the meat on the bones. Proficiency is 3. Leather's 11 plus dex, so it's 14. Initiative is plus 3. Speed is 30 feet. Hit points, she's gonna have some decent hit points. I mean, we're kind of on the then bow chicka bow bow. I'll make her cheeks fill with joyous blood, because it's cute. The meat and potatoes, yes. She is going to have hit points for days. I mean, especially for a warlock. So she gets maximum at first level plus 2, so that's going to be 10 for first level. Then she's going to get 2 times 7 other levels, so that's going to be 14 from her ability score alone. And then she's going to get half plus 1, so that's going to be 5. 5 times 7 is 35. At least last I checked. I don't know about this new math stuff. 59 hit points. So give me a second to grab a drink and pass the Rule Lawyer's bar exam, and I'm going to contest this ruling. You're certainly welcome to go ahead and do so, King. I'm up for a healthy, vigorous description about why Devil's Sight cannot look through hunger of Hadar. Why are you doing this, buddy? Come on, stop. The cat wants attention, and he's using sharp, pointy things to try and get it. There we go. The chat jury is in, Rose says the king. My cat uses sharp, pointy things for attention too, says Darkwolf. Yeah, it's a little inconvenient when you're trying to keep a straight face and have a discussion about, you know, serious stuff like playing tabletop games, and you just get a little, like, bite or that kind of, like, little paw that reaches up and goes tick with the tip of his claw. Okay, I think besides filling in the spell stuff, which we'll do in part 3 here together as we chat and just kind of have a good old time, I do want to go over what Combat Caster is for anyone who is wondering. We go down to Feats, and it's alphabetical. Here we go. Oh, it's not. It's called something Warcaster. You have practiced casting spells in the midst of combat, learning techniques that grant you the following. Hey, don't eat my cord, or whatever you're. Hey, he just dead weights. He's like, no, you're gonna touch me, and he just turns into this like 16-pound fuzzy slug of immobilization. You have advantage on Constitution save. What are you doing? Stop it. You have advantage on Constitution saving throws that you make to maintain your concentration on a spell while you take damage. You can perform the somatic components of spells even when you have weapons or a shield in one or both hands. And when a hostile creature's movement provokes an opportunity attack from you, you can use your reaction to cast a spell at that creature rather than making an opportunity attack. The spell must have a casting time of 1 action and must target only that creature. So she is definitely meant to be all up ons and to be very aggressive in her pursuit of her master's orders. Like a whole slew of manga coming to mind, and I probably couldn't, in good faith, tell you half the titles as how I want to present the stream. Jam, 12 and a 10. Oh no, yeah, you were so close in the Underdark. And a cloaker. Oh, a cloaker comes in and gets you. Nope, and there go my earphones again. Alright, well, while King is studying up his rules lawyering. Man, these things are geeking out. While King is studying up on his rules lawyering, and Jam is gonna go back and lick those wounds from the Underdark. I'm gonna take another break. I'm gonna get up and do a stretch. I'm gonna find out why he's psycho right now. Maybe he just needs a treat or something. He has me trained very well. And we'll continue from there as we go into part 3. So, see you in a little bit.